Hello friends. So this is the combustion analysis question. So we'll write the equation for the combustion reaction first. So it says 30 grams of organic compound. So it can be carbon, hydrogen, or oxygen. So in this case, I can just put CXHY OZ. We don't know carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, how much is there. Plus O2, combustion is always with oxygen. And the only products they told is carbon dioxide and water. These are the only products. So let's start with the information given to you. They gave you 44 grams of carbon dioxide. They gave you 18 grams of water, and they gave you 30 grams of this compound. How is this information useful? How is this information useful? So we have to understand that the carbon dioxide carbon only comes from the organic compound because oxygen O2 cannot give you carbon. And in the water, the hydrogen only comes from the organic compound again because O2 cannot give hydrogen. So CO2 and H2O, your first step should be thinking this way. CO2 is the one which will tell you about carbons in the organic compound. Water will give you the information about hydrogen in the organic compound. So let's figure out the moles always. So always start with finding the moles. So moles is 44, mass over molar mass. Molar mass is also 44, they gave you in the question, which is 1 mole. And this is 18 divided by the molar mass of water, which is 18 again. So this is also 1 mole. So we know that. So when this moles, what does this tell you? So 1 to 1 they gave you, right? So what you can do is you can find the ratio. So the ratio of this is dividing by the smallest number. So in this case, it's 1. So the ratio is 1:1. That means this tells you the coefficient of these two people, actually. So this tells you this has to be 1 and this also has to be 1. So this tells you one big information. So they already balanced. It gives you the right side balanced equation. So that means there's only one carbon and there are two hydrogens, 2 times 1. So that means obviously option A or option D is right. So we can eliminate B and C from here. Okay. So that means we have to check whether oxygen is there or not there in the organic compound because it just says organic compound. So for that, we have to now start with the mass information of 30 grams. So we have to first figure out the mass of carbon and hydrogen. If the total adds up to 30, then we know there is no oxygen. So let's start with the mass. So how do you figure out the mass of carbon and hydrogen? So use the CO2 only. So CO2, we got the mole. It's 1 moles of CO2. So from here, one CO2 has only one C, as you can see. One CO2. So CO2 to carbon ratio is just 1 to 1. So in one molecule of CO2, you only have one atom of carbon. So therefore, the ratio of moles will also be same. So one CO2 will always be 1 mole of carbon. Come to water. H2O and hydrogen is H atom. So in one molecule of water, how many hydrogens you see? 2 hydrogens are there. That means it's twice. So therefore 1 mole of water would give rise to 2 moles of H hydrogen atoms. Okay. So now we know the moles of carbon, we know the moles of hydrogen, we can get the mass of carbon. So mass of carbon is moles times the molar mass. So 1 times 12, which is 12 grams. And the mass of hydrogen will be moles times the molar mass. So 2 times 1, which is 2 grams. So now if you add it, yeah, you can use the actual value from the periodic table, 12.01 and 1.01. But I'm just using round off figure right now. So 12 and 2 gives you, 12 plus 2 gives you 14 grams. So it's not equal to 30. That means there is oxygen present in the molecule. So option D is right. Okay. But yeah, to figure out what it is, so if you want to actually solve it, it would be 14 grams. So what is 30 minus 14? So 30 minus 14 is 16. So 16 grams will be oxygen present. So we know the 16 grams, so you can get the moles of oxygen. So what's the moles of oxygen? 16 divided by the molar mass of oxygen, which is 16, which is 1 mole. So we know the ratio now. So we have 1 mole of oxygen. So carbon is to hydrogen is to oxygen. What is the ratio? We have 1 mole of carbon. We have 2 moles of hydrogen. And then we have 1 mole of oxygen. So the formula will be CH2O. Thank you.